Hi, and welcome everyone to the second session of our webinar series leading up to IGEXX. My name is Sarenaz Yüksel, and I'm working at the Ministry of Trade. Today, we have Timothy Druzbik, Marketplace Director, representing Walmart Marketplace. Before we start, I would like to give a brief information about IGEXX. Our summit is aligned with our national e-export objectives and supported by Ministry of Trade. It also aims to elevate Turkish brands on the global stage. You will have senior executives from over 25 regional and global marketplaces. Also, there will be sessions held by renowned keynote speakers and expert panelists talking about global trends in artificial intelligence, brand building, digital marketing, etc. There will be also an expo area where leading e-export retail companies and service providers in Turkey will showcase their products and services. You will have a chance to network and join two B2B meetings, and we will also have a award ceremony. So we would like you to join us on September 4th and 5th at the Haliç Congress Center. And for details, you can visit IGEXX.com. And for the participants, there will be 20% off of the ticket prices with the Walmart 20 code. So without further ado, I would like to give the floor to Timothy. So welcome, Timothy, again, and you can have your presentation.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm very honored to speak on behalf of Walmart and get to know the Turkish community. I wanted to start off by saying that Walmart has had tremendous success and support out of Turkey, and we're very excited. And we have strong conviction to continue building really strong bridges and partnerships with everybody in this e-export community today. Walmart, just for a quick overview, and I'll share my slides in a moment. We're active in 19 countries globally, and we're focused on building out our businesses in those ecosystems today with a really strong focus on serving our customer, as well as bringing exciting assortment to those customers. And by working with Turkish companies, we've been able to bring very amazing products with strong sellers and strong manufacturers, and we hope to continue building upon that. So with that said, let me share my screen, and I'd like to jump into our presentation today. All right, so a little bit about myself. I'm Timothy Druzbik. I lead our EMEA inbound business development along with a small team out of Bentonville, Arkansas. We are committed to growing and strengthening relationships around the world in key markets, Turkey being one of the most, I'd say, priority markets for our business today. And today we're going to walk through a little bit about Walmart Marketplace and our cross-border e-commerce platform that we have. What I would like to do is take you through step by step all the pieces of the marketplace, and hopefully this answers a few of your questions. And then we'll have some time at the end to go through additional questions that may not be answered in this presentation. So one thing I want to start off with is Walmart really is a people-led, tech-powered, omni-channel retailer that's helping people to save money and live better. A few things I want to touch on here is really the people-led aspect. Walmart's committed to showing up just like we are today, having face-to-face conversations, and really doubling down on the fact that we are a multi-generational family company. A lot of the original founders and family members are still at Walmart today, and we do want to continue to show up in person and have calls with folks that work with us and our partners like this to ensure that we are there and that we help you across this journey. As we know, there are a lot of challenges and there can be headwinds in international expansion. So my hope is that we can take away some of the hesitation or some of the areas that you might not know about. We'll help to fill in those gaps today on the presentation, and that's driven by people. We're also tech-powered. We're investing a lot in the technology of our marketplace, and that's across marketing, logistics, brand growth levers that we're putting in place to help you get going with us. And ultimately, we're there to serve a customer. Wherever Walmart operates, we put the customer first, and we want to help them to live better ultimately. And ultimately, saving money is a part of that. And bringing an exciting assortment from around the world is a big highlight to that overall message that we have here. All right, so a little couple high-level metrics here about Walmart. So the big message here really is that the world shops with Walmart. We have, as I mentioned, operations in over 19 countries globally. Our fiscal year 24 global e-commerce sales hit $100 billion. That was the first time ever. It's a really big milestone for our business. This is one of the fastest growing business segments in all of Walmart. This morning we had the earnings call, and Marketplace was mentioned something upwards of 20 times on this call, and it was identified as the fastest growing part of our business today. So I just want to highlight that this is an area of huge focus, and it is in the spotlight from Wall Street, from our board, from our associates. Everybody feels very strongly that this is a huge area of growth and opportunity within the Walmart ecosystem. We serve over 255 million customers and members across the world each and every week. 120 million of those customers are online in the United States with Walmart Marketplace. It's really an incredible number and an incredible amount of eyeballs that you can access through our ecosystem. One other statistic that I think is really fascinating is that 90% of the US population lives within 10 miles of a Walmart store. If you let that sink in, wherever you are in the United States, you can drive 10 miles and you can find a Walmart. It's pretty amazing. So let's go a little bit into our marketplace overview. As I mentioned, we have roughly 19 countries where we operate, and those are under different banners, different names, but they are part of the Walmart family. But where we really focus on marketplace, which is what we're talking about today, is in 4 core markets. That's the United States, Mexico, Canada, and Chile. Chile we launched in April of this year, so it's very much so a new market, but I see it as a fantastic blue ocean opportunity for the right people with the right assortment. One thing I'll touch on is that in every market that we have a marketplace, we also offer a WFS fulfillment solution. So just like our competitor might have FBA, we have the equivalent of WFS. So any concerns about fulfillment, you can put those aside. If you want to sell in all 4 markets, we have a fulfillment service available for you. You can also do that yourself if you'd like. So a few things to touch on in the US market. Our revenue was up 45% in fiscal year 24. As I mentioned, 120 unique visitors per month. And we have on the ground today over 4,600 stores. Our overall strategy is to bring that omni-channel retail experience to life. So coupling the online and offline and merging that together for a better customer experience. Customer loyalty is also something I want to touch on. We have roughly 40% of our customers making a purchase online once per week, 85% of which make a purchase once a month. Now, we are the largest grocer in the United States by far, in general merchandise, consumables, or FCHW as we call it, hardlines, ETS, all these complementary categories also drive a lot of the growth for us. But we have built the brand from the early days on grocery, and that continues to be a very big part of our business. So food, ambient food is something we could think about. Things that do not require refrigeration or fresh produce, those are non-starters for marketplace. But I think products that have the ability to be stored in a warehouse that have shelf-stable and long shelf life, that's something we can consider to really piggyback off of the strong customer loyalty in grocery that we have. Walmart Canada, really big bright spot for our business. We are the second most visited retail website in Canada. We have 40% of Canadians that shop with us every month. That's roughly 17 million people. Our sales are up 200% in the last 3 years. And we've got 65 million items online today. So we really are a one-stop shop for customers in Canada. We have a very similar brick and mortar footprint to the US. Not as many stores, but commensurate to the population, we're really on par with that ratio. And it is just fast-growing market. So we want our sellers to also consider Canada as a place to, bring assortment to life. Walmart Mexico. This is, in my opinion, as we call it, a crown jewel in our overall business. We're the largest retailer in Mexico. We have 27 million visitors online with us that are shopping with us every month. Our sales are up 40% year over year in this market. And we're seeing, in my opinion, a really interesting statistic. Over 50% of transactions, all right, are coming from cross-border items. So let that sink in as far as an opportunity for your items being a cross-border item. Over half of all transactions in Mexico are from cross-border items. Walmart Chile, again, in South America, I think this is by far and large one of the biggest opportunities today in retail is working with Walmart Marketplace, with the Chile Marketplace we've just opened. We're the number one omnichannel retailer in Chile. We are the number three brand across all industries. So you think about that, foreign and domestic brands. We're number three in the entire country across everything. We have over 390 stores, number one online grocery destination. We've been in Chile for over 60 years. We operate in 3 different banners below that you can see. So again, I just want to hammer home, Chile is a fantastic opportunity for anyone looking to take advantage of North and South America coverage. Bring your best assortment. We have WFS solutions for you. We'll help you get up and going. The next section here, I want to talk a little bit on international seller success. Over the last 4 to 5 years, we've really, started to bring in international sellers, opening up markets slowly, but strategically. We want to make sure that we're doing good work with our customers, which ultimately are you. We've identified a few key pillars to the growth model, and I think these are really the keys to success. So I'll just go through our flywheel quickly. Ultimately, the goal is to become a pro seller. In the middle, you see a pro seller badge. This demarcation essentially represents a seller that's doing everything at the best level above our benchmarks on our marketplace. So in order to do that, there are a few key functions here. Starts with content and discoverability. So when you're setting up your product pages and building your branded store with Walmart Marketplace, we do have a white glove team that can help you with item listings. And a lot of that goes into your item attributes, your keywords, your product page, how you want to position that, and the story you want to tell about the products to maximize your discoverability across the platform. There's a listing quality score that also rolls into that. That's going to look at your, fast and free shipping, the time to the customer, how long does it take once I click buy, your pricing, as well as just essentially your content. So do you have good high resolution photos? Are you using videos? Are your attributes dialed in? Is it describing the product the right way? So that's really that first bucket. Fast and free shipping, as I mentioned, Walmart Fulfillment Service is something that can guarantee a 2-day delivery from our warehouse anywhere in the United States to a customer. That's a really big consideration. US customers, and I'm sure it's similar in Turkey today, they're really conditioned and they expect to have a product within 1 to 2 days. So it's important you consider the delivery speed and how that will impact the overall success of your business on Marketplace. There's also integrated carriers. So you can use FedEx, you can use DHL, Horace Logistics, whoever you would like to use for first mile, middle mile, last mile. That's up to you. You're in control of that. That's the one part of this business too. We're completely flexible. You can set it up the way that works for you, although we do have services in place to help you maximize the opportunity. Boosting visibility is also something I'd like to touch on. We have Walmart Connect in place, which essentially is our paid per click tool, helping you get to the top of search, bidding on keywords, banners, etc. There's also search engine marketing. So our SEM service, it's a fantastic tool that's integrated with Marketplace. This goes through Google. We see about 30% of our traffic coming through SEM today. It's a fantastic growth lever. We're even offering incentives today. So every $500 that you spend, you can get $250 in credit towards SEM marketing, up to $25,000. So Walmart's really helping to pull the growth lever and increase discoverability for our new sellers on Marketplace. There's also brand ownership. We have a thing called Brand Portal. Essentially, you'll be able to build a branded storefront, and I'll show you this. It should be coming in the back half of this year for Turkish sellers with a Turkish PTO. If you have a US PTO, you can actually use that and get started today. Reviews. One thing I want to touch on here is the importance of reviews. We've seen data that shows if you have more than 5 reviews on a product listing, it impacts the conversion rate significantly. So there's a few ways you can go about generating your reviews. One is called review syndication. So if you have reviews that are on a hosted website, your D2C website, or through another third party, it cannot be a competitor marketplace. But if you have your own reviews, you can port those reviews over to your Walmart listings. And then you can start from day one as a trusted seller versus a cold start. So very powerful tool here. Just start with all your listing reviews on that product page on Walmart from day one. The other one is incentivized reviews. This is a program that we have in place where you can pay roughly $10 per review to incentivize customers to leave a review on your product page. Now, you're not in control of what they say or do, but it's a way to incentivize that to grow the reviews on your listings to help boost relevancy in the platform. Pricing strategy, also a big part of the game. We have a couple tools in place called Best of Web Repricer. This is the first one I want to mention. This is a free tool that you can open up and enable, which will allow you to automate your pricing and have your pricing benchmark against other listings on the web and come in at best of web pricing so you can win buy box ultimately. Strike-through promotions, this is very similar in concept to other marketplaces. Essentially, you have a listed MSRP price, a strike through that price, and then the price that you would offer that day as a deal. This requires about a 10% off, and then it's up to you to determine how deep you'd like to go on the discount. Flash deals and campaigns, again, getting in sync with the seasonality of the platform and all the promotional strategies that you want to deploy throughout the year. Submitting your items up for weekly flash deals, and then getting into those seasonal campaigns, part of the overall pricing strategy, just marketing strategy overall. Last but not least, in this flywheel is performance, making sure that your click to promise, as we call it, aka on-time delivery. If you say you're getting your product there in 2 to 3 days, does it arrive in 2 to 3 days, or does it take 10 days? That impacts your listing quality score if your delivery is late. Controlling your cancellations to make sure that you're, between 2%, refunds around 6%, and then making sure that you have a good seller response rate. What that means is, when you click into Seller Center, you need to be engaged. If a customer leaves a comment, please respond to them. If a customer says, "Where's my tracking number? When is my product arriving?" We need to make sure that we communicate with the customer well. All right, so item setup again. This is a little overview of how this works. You can see the clip that we have embedded here. You can drag and drop items for bulk upload. You can, look up your items as well. So you can do item by match through our Walmart catalog. So it's really a seamless way to use either our own spreadsheets, your spreadsheets, or syncing with our setup by match program. So you can also import your store from a URL. So as you can see here, it's pretty simple to do so. And then last but not least, if you have an API connection through a third-party service provider, you can also work through there, like a Linworks, Rhythm, etc. There's a lot of ways to do this in this regard. So the next part here, WFS, as I mentioned, this is going to offer you the ability to forward deploy your inventory to the United States and put it in our warehouse for quick and seamless delivery. That offers inventory storage, prep services. So if you need labeling done, packaging done, we have all of these services in-house. 2-day delivery, as I mentioned. You can do returns at any Walmart store across the country. We have customer service that also handles it on your behalf. So there's a lot of advantages to doing this. We know today that about 66% of our top 500 sellers use WFS, and that on average would cost about 15% less than our customers. Last but not least, sellers that use WFS see a boost in GMV of about 50% overall. So A little bit of a walkthrough on WFS. As I mentioned, you ship your inventory to our fulfillment center. This can be small parcel. This can be LTL. You can go with our preferred carrier service. We have a wide array of options for you to get your product to us. Once that product is received, we store it on your behalf. We pick, pack, ship, and do last mile delivery. You do not pay the shipping. You pay a fulfillment cost, which we'll go through in a few moments. As I mentioned, we do 2-day delivery to 100% of the United States. And then you do have the option of having our returns and customer care all within WFS, which is really a fantastic solution. Takes all that day-to-day management away from you. So we do have a cost calculator here. If you scan the QR code, you can actually input your product specs, dimensions, weights. It'll tell you exactly how much money you will pay to store your products with us. In addition to that, I think it's just fantastic, right? You're able to know upfront what you're getting into for your business. So I'd encourage you to use the cost calculator here at any time. We can also share a link with this after the webinar if you're interested to figure out how that will impact your overall P&L and margins. We're sharing a few of our fulfillment costs here today. This is our standard rate card. You can also find this in the Walmart Knowledge or Seller Help Center. This is going to be with that cost calculator as well. But you guys can see here today that, we're by weight. So 0.45 kgs, it's going to cost about $3.45. 0.9 kg or 2 pounds, $4.95, etc. So here's really what you will expect to pay. We do offer big and bulky services for large items like, let's say, a mattress or furniture. We do offer oversized dimensions as well. And then the other bucket here is storage fees, roughly 75 cents per cubic foot, about $2.50 per cubic meter. That will double over peak between October and December. But again, it's very black and white with our fees. You will not pay the shipping fee. You pay the fulfillment fee to us, and we handle delivery to the customer. So for WFS requirements, you have to be capable of shipping to the WFS facilities across the US. So you will have a location that will be assigned to you. A lot of times that's based on your returns address. So you have to be able to deliver to our WFS facility. And you can work with our carrier programs. There's about 10 carriers that we work with today called Preferred Carrier that will allow you to schedule a pickup from your warehouse in the US or through your partner in the US to get that product to our fulfillment center. We do recommend that for WFS, you start with your strongest and best assortment. Wherever you're seeing success on competitor channels or benchmark, I'd recommend starting with that. We don't have a minimum of how much you need to put in, so you can start small and grow, reinvesting as your business grows. We're not allowing perishable or regulated products, as I mentioned. So we don't do temperature control. We don't do like fresh produce, like vegetables, fresh foods. We cannot do that today. And we also do not allow, for example, tires for automotive. Anything that is a dangerous good or hazmat product, certain chemicals, we need to vet those up front and ensure that they're able to be stored at a WFS facility. As I mentioned, we can support up to 500 pounds, and the maximum dimensions are on the bottom there. Overall, fantastic solution for sellers. So Walmart Connect, as I mentioned, we'll cruise through this one. The name of the game really is, how do you get to top of search? How do I become discoverable on a platform if a customer types in a keyword related to my item? That starts with a good overall Walmart Connect strategy. Get the right keywords, submit your bids, get in repricer. As we know, Walmart Connect customers, they see about a 4-to-1 ROAS on average. Take advantage of SEM as well to have off-platform traffic coming into your listings. And then at the end of the day, from what we've seen, our top sellers, that top 500 cohort, 83% use Walmart Connect. So the message here is you have to be proactive. You have to be willing to set up and commit to a campaign and optimize that as time goes on. So an example of what SEM looks like, as I mentioned, about 30% of those searches is offsite. Let's say bicycles, for example. If a customer goes on Google and just searches for a bicycle, if you bid on Google SEM and your Walmart listing is live, now your bicycle will come up in the search box that you see here on Walmart. So a customer can find, hey, what platform or marketplace do I trust? Hey, I trust Walmart. I see a bicycle that I like. They click into Walmart and then they purchase the item. So it's really a fantastic way to get going and get more exposure and open up about another 30% of the search traffic to your listings. So please take advantage of that. Pricing tool, as I mentioned, you can use a repricer strategy, right? So automate the pricing. This is going to hit meet or beat pricing so that you win buy box. This is going to run this against external pricing. And it's going to overall optimize your buy box strategy so that you're able to win and improve that ROAS and improve your profitability. Walmart brand portal, as I mentioned, top right, you can see an example of this. We chose a beauty brand here just for ease of access, but you can see here, you have a nice mosaic. You can control the positioning. You can control your brand story. You can highlight the top categories, the top items. It's really a fantastic way for you to take control of the product and your brand. If you have a USPTO, you can submit that. You're going to get brand content control and ownership, as well as search hierarchy within the marketplace. Turkey is coming soon for this. If you have a USPTO today, you can use this right now. And then as we continue to roll out and upgrade technology, you'll be able to submit your local Turkish patent and trademark documents, excuse me, to be able to qualify for this. All right, so thank you for your patience. Just a sip of water. So fast and easy seller support. If you need support, we have a seller center. We have a seller knowledge support page. You're going to be able to get answers and troubleshoot any question you may have. In this example here, Walmart Fulfillment Services program, you can click in, get access to all the information you might need related to that specific question or area of concern or interest. You can see we have items in inventory, onboarding, returns, etc. Everything is consolidated here for you. If you need cross-border partners, in addition to who we have here today, we're also working with, excuse me, folks like Ship Integra, as well as Juarez. One moment, please. Okay, I think I'm good. So these solution providers will allow you access to cross-border partners or cross-border solutions that you may need. So this is all listed here, and we have a dedicated landing page for you if you need this support. Right here is our referral fee, and these range from 8 to 15%, and then in some categories, as low as 5%, as it's a tiered category like clothing and accessories. So starting on Marketplace, I think there's some things here that we need to consider. It's really the path of least resistance, and it opens the door to a lot of opportunities across Marketplace and Walmart's ecosystem in total. So in addition to selling as a 3P marketplace seller, we also have Walmart Business. So any larger business partners that want to buy in bulk or items that might be from a manufacturer that they might need for office furniture, office space, schools, etc. We have a Walmart Business platform that can help service that B2B customer. We also have niche and emerging categories like a pre-owned or refurbished category. So if you have electronic devices or products that are refurbished in a circular economy into the sustainability movement, we also are strategically positioning ourselves to serve a customer and a business that's engaged here. We have a membership program like Walmart Plus. You could think of this as a Amazon Prime equivalent. And then ultimately, we have Walmart 1P assortment. So the 1P essentially is site-owned. So Walmart would buy that directly from you and sell it online. So there's a lot of different avenues as you grow. All this typically comes after a marketplace launch, and then we can look at data, we can see where products are trending and tracking and growing. And then from there, we think about how we can help you grow within our Walmart ecosystem. One other example we wanted to show today of the technology we're putting into place is in automotive. And I think this is a really important category for Turkey. A lot of manufacturing of automotive products, hardlines products in Turkey specifically. But we have built a virtual garage for customers in the United States. So let's say, for example, I drive a Jeep. I input the type of Jeep that I drive in the Walmart application. After that is saved, when I search for tires in this example, I will only see tires that fit my particular model of vehicle. Now, what we've done is we've enabled the ability for Walmart 3P sellers to take advantage of our marketplace and then ship their tires to an installation center, or our auto care centers, as we call it, in the United States. Now, the customer can schedule the date, the time, and the location that they would like to have their tires installed at. So conceptually, we are able to, across roughly 2,000 auto centers at Walmart Supercenters, so almost half of all of our supercenters have an auto care center. You'll be able to leverage customers that want to have their products installed at these auto centers. Now, I do want to be transparent. This program has just come to life this year. It's brand new. It's open to a very small select group of sellers today, but we hope as time goes on that this matures and grows, and we'll be able to extend invitations to more sellers. But I think this is a really strong example of how we're developing technology and bringing a true omni-channel case to life. So what I'd like to close out with here today is how to onboard, and specifically just walking you through some quick requirements of how to do so. So there are very minimal qualifications to get going with us. You need a Turkish business entity or a US business entity, a W-9 or a W-8 specifically. In addition to that, we're going to need a utility bill that's matching your business entity, or a bank statement that has the name of your entity on it within the last 6 months. We need to see history of marketplace or e-commerce success. So if you're selling on our competitor platforms, if you have your own D2C website, please provide a website link or a link to your listing. We need to have products that have a G10, EAN, or a UPC. They need to be compliant with GS1. We need to have a catalog that complies with our product policy. We're not allowed to sell prohibited products. We have published prohibited products on our website. You can find that on our website or through a link we can share to ensure your products are in compliance. You have to have a fulfillment strategy in place, so either your own warehouse or a WFS support. You need to have a returns address on file. That's either at our WFS facility or through your own warehouse. We do have returns providers and partners available if you need be, and we can share that with you. All right, so I'd like to close out here today. It's really as simple as create an account that we'll help you to do that with. So if you're interested to sign up and sell, we'll share with you a few pieces of information that we need from your side, and we'll generate an invitation for you to begin the application process. Once that business is verified through our trust and safety team, we'll move into a 3-step process where you'll set up payments, shipping, and ultimately you'll be able to go live after that point and begin setting up your items. We have WFS white glove service to help you with inbounding inventory, and we have WFS solutions in place for you starting now. We also have white glove for item setup. So if you do need assistance with setting up items, we can do that for you and with you. And then lastly, if you do need information on Walmart Connect advertising, we do have information we can share with you, and then perhaps even set up a walkthrough demonstration for certain sellers regarding how to best leverage these tools. So I will stop there. Thank you all for the time. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and the walkthrough, and it's truly been a pleasure to present to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this useful presentation. We would like to ask you some questions, and these questions are from both the participants, companies, and from our side. Just to recap and maybe highlight some of the things. So in the marketplace accounts, you talked about that there's not much you need, and it's okay if we have a Turkish company entity. But is it meant, and you also said that you need bank statement within the last 6 months. Is it has to be a US bank statement, or is it okay to just give the statement of a Turkish bank from a Turkish bank?
That's a great question. So you're able to provide a Turkish bank statement. You do not need to have a US bank statement.
Okay, and are there any documents required for account creation and any important steps that should be specifically paid attention during this process?
So for the account creation process, the biggest things are that your business entity is verified, that you do have the complimentary request for a bank statement or utility bill. And then the other part that is going to be a part of this process is the payments. So today we offer payments through Payoneer. It's a third-party payment processor. So you will need to create a Payoneer account and then select where you would like to have that currency remitted to. So that is a part of the process that we'll work through with you. We also have a dedicated contact at Payoneer who will help with any troubleshooting to ensure that you receive currency in the form of currency that you'd like. So if you'd like that in dollars or wherever that might be, we want to make sure that we help you get this set up properly.
Great. So when the companies are listing products on your marketplace, you've talked about the white glove team. When this team helps companies to list and give the proper information about the products. And but do you have any industry specific recommendations about that?
So I think when it comes to industry related suggestions, I think it's if you're selling on competitor marketplaces or you're selling digitally, we want you to bring those best practices to Walmart. I think a lot of that goes into the optimization work of how you want to boost your discoverability. So I think working with our white glove team to make sure that the form is fully filled out. We have a new thing today called OmniSpec 5.0. It's the newest item sheet that we have. And that's really going to help improve your discoverability by making sure the item attributes are fully filled out, the complementary keywords, making sure that you are highlighting the functionality of the items, the efficacy of the items, thinking through holistically, hey, I have a product, but what's the age demographic? What does this product ultimately help with? Who is my target audience? So I think it's not just about one industry, it's holistically about the product more than anything else, and then the customer that product serves.
Right. And I think this is a general suggestion about the competitive pricing as well. And so how should companies handle product pricing and inventory management if they're not working with the white glove team, for example?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So I think, whenever you're entering a new market, there needs to be some due diligence or competitor analysis that's done up front. So I would suggest to anyone that's looking to expand internationally, look at other marketplaces, look at our own marketplace first and foremost, as that's where you're selling, and type in some keywords related to your products and figure out what is your value proposition versus competitors. How does your pricing benchmark against them? And one thing I want to call out that was in the presentation, really, Repricer. Use our repricing tool. That's going to help you scrape best of web, help you get at meter beat pricing, and ultimately win buy box. I think, for people that are just starting out, use that as your path of least resistance. It's free, and it's going to give you pricing recommendations immediately.
And you've talked about that you have a very clear understanding about the pricing when it comes to fulfillment. And but is there any information you can tell us about the commission rates of your marketplace?
Yeah, so commission rates will range between 8 to 15%. In apparel, there is a tiered commission. It could start at 5%. But we're going to stay within those ranges. And then we do have new seller incentives today that run until October 31st. So for anyone that signs up over the next couple of months, you will get a little bit of a reduced rate across different buckets. And that's roughly 10 to 15% areas against the overall percentage. So not slashing it tremendously, but a little bit of a rebate to get going. And as I mentioned, those commission rates are going to be between 8% to 15%, depending on the category that you sell in.
Right. And when you talk about the fact that you're very flexible when it comes to getting the products to the customer, whether the companies can work with the fulfillment service of yours, or they can use a third party. So what should Turkish exporters pay attention to in terms of cargo and logistics?
So I think they want to work with a trusted party. They want to work with a partner that has experience in international trade, that is able to handle in my opinion, the customs clearance. Ultimately, the seller is going to be the importer of record. So they need to work with a trusted partner that has experience in this regard. So I think that ultimately, in my opinion, is a very important factor. I would encourage them to take their time, look at a few different partners, and look at the different pricing models they have in place. Are they offering consolidated shipments? If you're moving less than container load, what are the requirements? What are the pricing? And really, that's a big factor in my opinion. They need to make sure that the partner they're working with has the experience and is able to accommodate the needs in each individual circumstance.
So when they transfer their products to US, is there any information you can give about the custom processes?
So there is going to be the ability for products that are under $800 to be tax and duty free. Anything over that, they will begin to incur taxes and duties. But I think most of the time, we see our sellers working with trusted freight forwarding partners that handle this process for them and then negotiate upfront the fees that they will incur before the shipment goes out.
And when it comes to payment, you've talked about the Pioneer that you're kind of using as the payment system. Are there any options available for sellers? And could you tell us about the general steps when it comes to collection processes work on your marketplace?
Yeah, absolutely. So Payoneer is the only payment solution we offer today. We're working on expanding that offering in the next 6 to 12 months. However, we do not yet have partners we can announce, but I think that we'll have more choice in a future state. Payoneer charges roughly between 1 to 2% for a processing fee. So I do want to be upfront about that as well. But it's a very good solution where you can create a Payoneer wallet where those funds, after a 14-day delay from Walmart, will be deposited. So we pay in a 2-week cycle. Those will be deposited to your wallet, and then you will be able to remit those funds to the bank account that you have on record. So when let's say a customer purchases something on August 1st, on August 14th, you could expect to have the funds in your wallet, and then you can either reinvest them into marketing, or you can deposit them into a bank account, totally up to you.
Great. And you said that it's really important for sellers to answer customers' reviews, if when they ask where is my tracking number, etc. And is there any other communication channels? And how are the orders tracked and communication with customers ensured?
Yeah, so when the purchase goes out, the customer will receive that information through their app or through the website where they've made the purchase. With WFS, that will be completely automated. So they'll receive a tracking number. They'll be able to track that item through the whole process. When it's through a seller fulfilled model, the seller will have to update when those items are shipped out to make sure tracking numbers are updated and that everything is in place. So I do think that that is a key consideration in the overall process. A customer can inquire through contact seller, and that will go right into the seller center. There's an inbox, a mail logo when you log in to your seller center where customer inquiries will be. So we do encourage that any seller or any brand that is on Walmart Marketplace be very engaged with us and that seller to ensure that any questions are answered promptly. I would encourage sellers to get back to a customer within 24 hours as a best practice so that they're able to understand where their order is in the fulfillment process, and that if any changes are to be incurred, the seller is able to update the customer promptly.
And how was your category-based experiences for shipments from Turkey?
Yeah, so I think Turkey offers so much. Honestly, we've seen Turkish sellers be successful across all categories. Where I see us getting very excited for certain potential categories, home goods is huge for us. Hard lines and automotives, seasonal items. I believe that electronics and toys are also a big opportunity for us here. We have seen Turkish sellers in consumables. So as we call it, FCHW, food, consumables, health, and wellness, also be quite successful. So I think just across the board, where we have good products and good assortment, and we tend to see this coming out of Turkey today, we're seeing these sellers be successful.
So as Walmart, you are very helpful in terms of return processes, and you provide marketplace guides for sellers or firms that want to become sellers. But what about the local and culture constraints? What are the local constraints a Turkish seller might face in the product listing and labeling processes?
Yeah, I think for the markets we're in today, and we're trying to move towards a unified listing strategy where sellers would be able to access all of the marketplaces we have today. I think some key considerations really are under packaging and labeling in English or local languages in the markets they sell in. I think a lot of it comes down to the compliance and regulatory requirements. A lot of that will be proactively coached to the sellers through our seller center, but they do need to be aware, in my opinion, of local requirements for compliance, regulatory, ingredients, making sure that across the board they're prepared for the markets that they're selling in. It can be a daunting task going international for the first time, but before you do so as a seller, I do highly recommend that you consult perhaps with any experts in the market. You consult with the Walmart team. You review assortment to make sure that everything will be in compliance. So for me, I think that's really one of the big steps. And then just doing research, benchmarking, understanding the opportunity and the audience that you're going to be marketing to is also a requirement. So just understand your customer, make sure your products are in compliance, and then be prepared for perhaps unexpected circumstances. It is a journey as you expand and grow internationally, but Walmart has done a lot to remove a lot of the barriers and put a lot of mechanisms in place to help sellers be successful.
And you have said that, Turkish sellers have a great potential in terms of automotive, toys, consumables, etc. And what are other categories do Turkish companies stand out? And what are some key recommendations you would make to Turkish companies? Do you have any suggestions for Turkish firms to differentiate themselves from the competition, just to highlight it?
Yeah, so I think home goods, apparel, and textiles are two areas where we see the ability to differentiate, and where a lot of the Turkish brands have a lot of strength. We've seen sellers come in bringing great apparel products at really good value prices at the entry price point, as well as more of a mid-market price. And then we see home being our fastest and largest growing category, a very large opportunity for furniture, home goods, things in those areas that we think Turkish sellers can really stand out in. And then we've also seen Turkish sellers in the food, consumables, health, and wellness area. They've done quite well as well, whether that's reselling or brand direct. There's opportunity there to grow.
And we have, as I said, we have additional questions. So one of our participants wants to know if how Walmart determines its international e-commerce strategies and what factors it prioritizes, especially when entering a new market.
Yeah, so I think that's a great question to ask. The way I'd like to answer that really is we're in 19 global markets today, so 19 countries essentially. We don't have any plans to expand that today. We really are focused on building out the existing ecosystem and bringing to life an omni-channel retail strategy. And that's brick and mortar with our marketplaces or e-commerce. We want to serve the customer that we're engaged with today, and we want to help them get access to great assortment. And the way we're doing that today, one of the big levers we're pulling is with marketplace and allowing sellers around the world to bring that great assortment to our customer.
And are there any must-have features for the partners? For instance, majority of our economy based on SMEs, and majority of the companies are SMEs. So how big as a company matters for Walmart. You've mentioned that you have incentives. However, is there like a limit to it, or like you have to be a certain size in order to benefit from these incentives? And for instance, if an SME wants to start to do e-commerce or want to open to US market and work with Walmart, but does Walmart want to work with our companies?
A resounding yes. We love SMEs. We love small business. We are very pro small business. So there are no requirements. If your business has just started today, if you've just opened an entity, please come sell with Walmart. We encourage that. So that I want that to be clear. We don't have a requirement on size of business to sell in marketplace. And the incentives that we offer, those are available to everybody, right? So we have a new seller incentive that's open to SMEs, that's open to large businesses, that's all the same. So yes, please come sell with us. If you want to be an e-commerce seller on marketplace in the United States, come start with Walmart. I work with brands every day and sellers every day that are small business and large business. Across the board, we help everybody to grow.
Thank you so much. And as a last question, as you know, the Istanbul Global E-Export Summit is coming, and we are very excited. And as I mentioned, there will be B2B meetings with big players of the ecosystem as Walmart and our companies. And what would you recommend to companies that will attend Istanbul Global E-Export Summit and will meet you during this B2B meeting?
I would say come with an open mind about global expansion and growth in North America. Come with questions. We make a living here helping sellers and brands to understand cross-border e-commerce. And I think that everybody on the team that we have is very passionate about that. And whether you're a small business or a large enterprise, our goal is to help businesses grow and to help bring the right assortment to our customers around the world. So for me, we just want to engage with the Turkish community. We want to show up and we want to get to know you. We want to understand what are your concerns? How do we help make the process easy? And if you're already selling with us today, to the point I just mentioned, I want to know what are the pain points? Are there pain points? Is everything going great? How do we continue to improve and become better? And how do we offer the best Walmart to you and also the best Walmart to our customers?
Thank you so much. And we are very excited to have you guys there. And thank you, everyone. That's all from our side as the questions. Actually, we had more questions, but your presentations were so insightful that you already answered.
Okay.
So we do not want to really repeat ourselves that much. So if you let me, I just want to remind our participants to they have a 20% off for their tickets using Walmart 20 code. And thank you so much, Timothy, for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been wonderful. And I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I have. And again, just very grateful for the opportunity today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.